Welcome one, welcome all to Minis-N-Muscles. Oh, what's happening with my backdrop? Look, God, I need to fix that. There we go, sorted. We are ready to rock and roll. Welcome everybody to Minis-N-Muscles, the place where the brawn meets the brush. We are here yet again. It's our fourth live session. God, so that's 1 month worth of lives. So really crazy to be doing yet another one, and we're still going, so that's pretty good news. How is everybody? I don't know where you all are this evening, but here in the UK it is very hot today. It's around 30 degrees or so. I'm just going to turn that backdrop music down a little bit. It's about 30 degrees or so, so it's pretty hot, it's pretty warm, but it's very nice nonetheless. So yeah, it's very good, and at least we're actually getting a summer now, so that's very, very cool indeed. So let's have a little wait whilst we get a few more people joining in. I think I need to turn my ring light on as well. God, I'm very unprepared today. I do apologise. Let me turn that ring light on just so it sheds a bit more light on the situation, especially when we start to paint some models. There we go. That's a bit brighter. We can actually see what we're doing now. There. Okay, howdy, howdy, howdy. Hey, Squarish, how you doing? How are you? So we've had a bit of an upgrade here at the Minis-N-Muscles channel. We've changed some cameras. I wanted to do some tutorial videos the past couple of weeks, and I've been trying to do some close-ups, and I absolutely struggled. So I upgraded a camera. I've got a new camera. We're going to try it out this evening. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. Yes, it should be good fun. So let's have a little think about where we were last week and what we were talking about. So in our session last week, it actually went for 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think it was in the end. Absolutely nuts. I would never have thought I could chat for that long. Unfortunately, I can't do the same length of time this evening, but nonetheless, it will still be a very good session anyway. So last session we spoke a lot about retro gaming and our sort of favourite games from the late 80s, the 90s, 2000s, so from sort of probably around the Nintendo era, or the original Nintendo that is, all the way through the SNES, the N64, Mega Drives, Master Systems, all the way up to you know, the more later consoles like PlayStation 1 was probably, or maybe PlayStation 2, I think we spoke about a game or two there. So it was quite cool to chat around the retro gaming. I also revealed my favourite games from the past, which was Double Dragon. So for today though, and what we're going to go through today is, of course, we are going to return to painting our mini Grombrindle. So he's taking up quite a bit of colour so far. He's looking really good. So we'll continue him throughout the stream. And we'll get some nice close-ups, which is very cool. And I wanted just to talk about Warhammer in general today. So we cover a fair few sort of geek topics here on Minis-N-Muscles. And I was going to talk Warhammer purely because I'm actually going to play my first ever game of Warhammer 40k this weekend. I'm quite excited about that. I've painted lots of models in the past, but I have never played a game ever. So this is going to be quite a cool sort of thing to do. Actually, I'm very much looking forward to it. Played plenty of D&D, painted plenty of Warhammer models. I have played some Blood Bowl and some Mordheim in the past, which are sort of sub-games of the Warhammer world, and they're sort of shorter. But I've never played a proper full game of Warhammer or Warhammer 40k, so that's going to be very interesting. So hopefully you're going to join me and do some painting this evening. I'm going to open the good old wet palette and get that open and ready. So we're prepped. I have put in a fresh piece of paper into my wet palette for this evening only, just so we're up and ready to go. I've got some fresh water here, although my jar is dirty, it is fresh water, so we're also ready on that front. So hopefully you guys have prepped your arsenal too, and you're ready to rock and roll. So as I get my bits and bobs out and in line here, let's see if the new the new camera works. Oh, what's Squarish saying in the chat? I'm good. Melting hot here too. Oh man, it's absolutely crazy weather. So yeah, I've turned off. I am lucky enough to have air conditioning in my man cave. And if anyone's watching from the US or from Canada or Germany, you guys, especially Canada, US, have aircon everywhere. In the UK, you don't really have aircon anywhere, including in offices most of the time. So yeah, I am fortunate that I did buy one because my little man cave is above a garage and it gets super hot. So if I start sweating midstream and you see like buckets of sweat pouring off of me, it is because it is super hot. So yeah, it normally gets up to about 20, between 25 and 28 degrees on a hot day in here, but it's like no air moving at all, so it's quite stuffy. But yeah, we'll soldier on. So let's have a look at Grombrindle. Let's see if we can use our new camera, see if this works. Oh, look at that, there we go. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. So here he is. Let's just mark up my little marker here so I know where to place him. And let's shed some light on him. There we go. Righty. What's he saying there? You're very... was that quiet? Oh, no. Okay. Alright, let me turn that down a little bit. Is that any better? Or do I need to turn up my mic? Is that any better? Any better? Let me know in the chat if that sort of rectifies it. Hopefully it does. Otherwise, I don't really know what else to do because I've not changed any settings. But here is Grombrindle. Here he is for all his glory. So last session we did some of his... we painted some of his blue coat here. We did his armour. We did some of the belt that's underneath. We did also the bronze shoe covers. Better. Thanks, Bearded Veteran. Much appreciated, brother. So let's just take a little spin round and see the back of him. And that's what he's looking like at the moment. So still a long old way to go, but we are getting there. Oh, we did actually paint his boots as well. So if you look here, the shade of the boot is actually a brown, with the sole being black. So hopefully that is all good. What do you reckon to the new camera? Look at that, we can actually see him. You will see that the camera actually sits outside my border box at the moment. I didn't have time to fix that, but it is working nonetheless. If I turn it this way, it's a slightly odd angle, so I probably won't use this side section too much. But yeah, this is Grombrindle, and this is what he's looking like at the moment. So there we go. So it's pretty cool. So let's just switch back to main camera whilst we have a little bit of a chat. See if any others drop on in. So, Squarish and Beard Veteran, apart from getting through the sweltering heat, are you guys okay? Are you keeping all right? Have you got any plans for the weekend? So I can get all my brushes ready. Any plans at all? So what I'm actually going to do right now, whilst we're waiting for a bit of chat to come in and for a few more people to join, I'm just going to get my brushes prepped. What I wanted to do, and actually let's go back to here. I wanted to just go around the edge of these rocks a little bit and just give a bit of shading, a bit more shading to them. So what I'm going to be using for that is this. Nuln oil. So this is another Citadel paint. This is a very thin, liquidy paint. It's, well, as I say, a paint. It's not really a paint. It's like an inky kind of base, and it just helps give a little bit of shadowing to when you're doing your painting. So we painted all those rocks the other day in various different greys, but actually by just going over them with this, giving it a little bit of shadowing, just brings out the colours and it just makes it look a little bit more defined. It makes it look a bit more real. What's he saying? Not too bad. Supposed to be photographing a biker event in the town tomorrow. Oh, cool. Nice. Well, good luck with that, bro. Hopefully that goes all well. Fingers crossed you get a few people to photograph. Is that like a passion? Do you do that as a passion? Is that like a passion hobby, or is that a paid for gig? What's all that about? So let's just switch back a sec to our mini painting cam. Here we go. So I'm going to take this little guy here, and let's just start applying a little bit of this to the rocks around the edge. Can you see here how it pulls into the crevices? That is exactly what we want. So it's a bit of a cheaty paint. So if you're not, feeling too confident on, highlighting and things like that, this is a nice little cheaty way to fill in the gaps. It also blends your paints very well too. So if you're having problems blending between two colours, you can use these sort of inks just to blend in between the areas. So I'm just applying a fair amount, not too heavily, because we don't want to completely obscure it, but we're just applying it across these rocks now, just to dull them down a little bit. Let's move my paint over here so I'm not continually going straight over the top. Yeah, but we want to dull it down a little bit. Can you see how lovely it is when it pulls right there in that big crevice? It makes it just stand out so much better. Absolutely love it. So you can use these sort of they were called washes back in the day, and they're not anymore. There's a couple of various different versions, but contrast paints is what they're called now, or shades. And you get a variety of different colours of them, and they're pretty cool. And it just eases some of the painting process for you, especially on these little things where you might not want to spend a whole lot of time on painting rocks, for God's sake. Painting rocks is pretty boring, isn't it? I mean, I know some pros will spend hours doing them, but again, we're not here as pros. We're here as just your average guys, and your average gals, and we're just wanting to get a model looking pretty good, especially on this whiter grey that we're using as well. It just sort of covers it up a little bit, dulls it down, which makes it look a bit more realistic. Okay, so there you go. So that gives you the kind of feel and effect for those rocks as we're going round there, and you can see the shadows coming in, which is pretty cool, and that looks really nice. I do love a little bit of shadow sometimes on those sort of things. So let's just place Grombrindle down. Oh, Hells has got a laughing face in there. Hello, Hells. How are you doing? How has your week been? Hope you're well. What else we got? Squarish, I'm good. Visiting family this weekend. I had a great Aliens session with Nathan on Wednesday. Oh, it was Aliens, yes. So, Squarish is talking about Tactical Advanced Games, so the charity that I volunteer at. We do therapeutic gaming for current serving soldiers and veterans. And as part of that, we run lots of different games like Aliens, D&D, Call of Cthulhu, all that sort of jazz. And I really wanted, they just started a new Aliens game, and I really wanted to jump into that Aliens game and just experience it, because I've never played it before. So I thought, this would be perfect to jump in on. So what was it like? You said it was great. How was it? I'm gutted I couldn't make it. I had some crazy work commitments this week myself. I've literally only just walked away from my laptop, which is just over that side, and sat myself here to then do the stream. So yeah, it's been a little bit crazy this week for me, but I'm gutted. Hopefully it was a good one. Bearded Veteran is saying, more of a hobby than anything. Oh, is in relation to your photographing. Yep. So it's more of a hobby than anything, but it's a local biker club that asked me to photograph it for them again because they liked my photos last year. Fantastic, mate. That's brilliant. That's awesome. That's really cool. Do you ride yourself? Is that what inspired you to to go down to the biker place and take photos? Is it because you ride or you just like bikes? Yeah, and Squares, you're going to have to let me know what the Alien session was like and how good it was and how the gameplay went and all the rest of it. I really want to play that game. Like, I really do. Excuse me whilst I pick up my paintbrushes that I dropped a minute ago. And hells, the smiley face. I get the smiley face. Well, what's going on, hey? What's going on? So, what are we going to do next on our model? So we take a little look at our boy Grombrindle. Where are we going to go next? We do have some more shields down here that we could go for if we wanted to. We want to do a shield, and then maybe that skeleton that's on the shield. Yeah, in fact, let's go for that, shall we? Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Unless anyone's got any preferences. If you've got preferences, stick them in the chat, and I will be happy to paint that area. I really wanted to use my phone camera as well, but for some reason it's not picking up on OBS tonight. So I'll just switch back to that one whilst I prep some paints, because we're going to do the shield. And I think that shield would be quite cool if it was... What have we got? Let's have a look at the colours on the outside. So we've got a light brass, we've got silver or a sort of steel colour. We've got obviously the orc shield over the back. This one is more of a... it does look a bit more of a humanoid type shield. So what we got here? Oh, that'll do. That'll be nice. I'm just looking for a different colour gold. When we're looking at our paints and things like that, if I just bring them over off of my rack, I'm looking at all these here. In fact, let's switch to side cam. So I've got this one here. So I've got this Retributor armour. I've got Runelorn brass, which we've used. So we used these two on this main shield here. So if we see there, that's the Runelord brass and the Retributor armour gold on there. So we've used those already. I don't want to use those. We did use this one, which is Screaming Bell. We use that for his boots. So you see his boots that are lined up there? That's what we used for those. So we're left with two. We're left with these ones. So Balthazar gold or Genna's gold. Genna's gold is really thin. It's more for highlighting really on the top because it just brings out the touch. So we might actually go back later and use it on this area. Or we might use it on top of some of the other areas just to give it a bit of a different gold feel. But I'm feeling this one. Balthazar gold. It's a kind of rusty kind of gold. Let's just switch back. It's a kind of rusty looking gold. And we'll try and use that. I have got my paint mixer on the side ready to go. So I'm just mixing it up at the moment. That's what that strange noise is. It's not anything funky. Oh, so what's Bearded Veteran saying in the chat? I used to ride before I got married. Until this year I was photographing most of the town's big events for about 4 years just for fun and to promote the town a bit. Oh, that's a nice thing, man. Yeah, just like enjoying your hobby. And out of the back of that sort of stemmed this opportunity to go and speak to the biker guys and actually do some photos for them. So that's really cool. It's like a passion of bikes before you got married. And then, you know, it's just sort of followed you into the realms of doing an extra hobby, which is cool. Right, so we've got our gold that's nice and mixed up. Let's see how this looks. So let's get a little bit and put it onto our wet palette. We might need a little bit more than that. Okay, let's close that up because it's very hot today. I'll end up drying all my paints out. So, I just need to switch cameras, don't I? There we are. Alrighty, so this one is a little bit more tricky because as you can see I'm going to turn the model slightly just so it's a handier place for me to paint because we need to paint in here. Remember, make sure you use your wet palette to thin those colours down a little bit. And just slowly start to move that gold around the centre of the shield. So we're using this gold for the centre. It's a bit of a kind of copper colour actually. No, not copper. Is it copper? Yeah. Copper or brassy kind of colour. But again, doesn't matter if you go over the edges a little bit, because we're going to actually put a different colour on the edge trim. So we could use one of those brighter golds if we wanted on the edge. But, then you need quite a fine tip here on this one. So I'm actually using an Artificer brush from Citadel on this part. You don't have to, actually, if you're really careful, but A, my eyesight is not that great, hence why I wear glasses. B, my hands aren't the steadiest. So to counter that, I then make sure that I use a very fine brush, and I just go very slowly. So there you go, you can see that the colour's starting to come through there, which is nice. Yeah. Let's add some more colour in here, just to fill the little bit that was coming through. So there was a little bit of black that was coming through there. So, and that's about right. If you've mixed your wet palette right with your paints, you will find that as you slowly apply the layers. And it's better to have that and go over it for a second time than it is for you to, you know, dump a load of paint straight on the Mini and then have to work that off. That's just going to be an absolute nightmare. Right, so that centre bit's done. That's cool. Let's place old Grombrindle down whilst we wash the brush off. Let's just change camera just for a bit of a different experience. Yeah, so James, you'll have to let me know about that Aliens TTRPG. I was quite excited to play that, but I didn't get the opportunity, unfortunately, which is a bit gutting. But hopefully next time I'll get to join in. Although this week, what have I done this week, TTRPG? So I did my online campaign for Tag. So that was a D&D 5e adventure along the Sword Coast. That was this Monday, and I also ran my homebrew game. So I run a homebrew D&D game every Thursday evening, and I run that here in the man cave. And I had all my mates come over and play that, which was pretty sweet. We had a new person join the party as well, which was really nice. So if my man is watching this evening, I try not to use names, just in case people don't want me to use names and name them. But if my man is watching this evening, if you're on there, then welcome. It was good to have you join the game yesterday. It was very cool. Just mixing up a bit of a brighter gold right now for the edging on that shield. So again, oh, that's a bit stiff, that one. Okay, so taking a little bit of that gold onto my wet palette. It's gone really thick, that this paint has in this heat. Don't know if anyone else has noticed that a Retributor armor goes thick in the heat. Might also be because that's an older paint from Citadel. Has anyone noticed the conspiracy theory on Citadel paints over the past 3 or 4 months recently, where the conspiracy theory is that you're now getting less for your money because it's all watered down even further and they're really thin? I would agree, because some of the more modern stuff, or the newer stuff that I bought in replacement for what I've used, the paints they do seem a bit thinner. So it could sway me to leave Citadel and move to another brand. Not that they care that I won't use their paints, but, you know, if everyone did that, they would certainly care, that's for sure. But little old me, they don't really bother about individuals. Although, if you're listening, Citadel, and you want to send some paints my way, be happy with that. Send me some paints. Oh, I forgot to swap the camera over. Sorry, guys. There we go. Let's get him back in shot. I'm just going down the edge here, just trying to get a little bit of gold. This is really finicky, this part. Get a little bit of gold just down in that edge. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to run that down there, like that. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter if I go slightly over onto this bit here, because that will be painted at a later point, so that's absolutely fine. But what I do want to do is just make sure that we get a nice swath of gold across where we need to be. So let's get that up. There we are, lovely jubbly. Yeah, so last session we were speaking about retro gaming, and this session I wanted to talk about Warhammer. So I have known of Warhammer for many years, many years, and when I say many years I mean, you know, when I first encountered Warhammer it was probably around 1996, 95, something like that. So sort of mid 90s roughly, and it was through school, some pals at school that played it. It was considered super geek back then, and I was a bit too scared to reveal that I was a geek and I really liked it. So I didn't like fully embrace it at the time. I think what I did is I sort of shied away from it a little bit and admired from the side. I did pluck up the courage to play Magic the Gathering with the same group, and I just sort of watched from the side a bit, which was alright. I never played it. There was a pal of mine that then bought one of the box sets of Warhammer, and it was called Mordheim, and it was like more like a game, more like a board game vibe, because it was smaller. It wasn't like a shit ton of rules. It was quite simplistic, you know, and you just had your little groups that you had on a table with a bit of terrain, and you rolled around and killed each other, basically. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. He then got, because this kid ended up getting a lot of these games, he got Blood Bowl. So, I should have said, Mordheim is a sort of fantasy-based sort of setting. So, you know, crossbows, axes, swords, that kind of thing. And then Blood Bowl is, and it was Mordheim was combat featured. Blood Bowl is in the fantasy setting, so with dwarves, elves, all the rest of it, but it's actually sort of a spin-off of American football. So that was really cool as well, and that was an easy game, and I liked that, and I actually bought my own minis for that. Oh no, actually, my friend gave me some minis. So in the box set, you used to get two teams. He took the orc team, and I took the human team. Well, he actually gave me the human team. He was very kind. I bought some extra minis, and we would go down to our local game store and buy minis. They were really expensive back then, I remember, as well. So Games Workshop's always been pricey. But nonetheless, we went down there and we bought ourselves some minis, just to give you a update on what that shield's looking like. So we've got a shield there, sort of brighter gold on the outside and more of a bronzy kind of gold on the inside. So that's how he looks. Oh, let's get that back in frame. There we go. So I did a bit of Mordheim and a bit of Blood Bowl with my friend John, and that was absolutely awesome. Absolutely loved it. I did sort of view from afar a few of the kids that played Warhammer 40k, and I couldn't quite get myself into it as a kid. I'd ended up getting a couple of figures that were gifted to me from different people, so I didn't really as a kid, I didn't really hang out with the cool kids or the geek kids. I was sort of in the middle, so I'd play football with the cool kids, but I'd play, magic cards with the geeks, so I was sort of running both sides. Where was I? I lost myself now. So I played Mordheim and Blood Bowl. I really enjoyed it. Didn't buy too much Warhammer 40k, but just admired it from afar. And it wasn't till lockdown that I got back into it. So I kept, after all those years, I'll go back to the camera, sorry guys. So I'm just doing the axe, just to give you some context on what I'm doing, just because I've got the gold out. So when I was in lockdown, I walked past the Warhammer shop a few times just on my daily walks, you know. And I was like, oh, actually, that's pretty cool. I could do that and just sit at home and do it. And I did, and I got into it, and I absolutely loved it, and it was awesome. Just painting miniatures by myself, no one bothering me or being a idiot or a fool or giving me a hard time or whatever. It was just painting models. It was lovely. So I did that. That's how I got back into Warhammer, but never played the game. And it's not until this weekend that I will actually play a full game, and I'm really excited. So a couple of my buddies that I play D&D with are going to teach me. So, because I GM for those guys in our D&D games, and they're going to teach me Warhammer. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty cool. Remember when you're doing your models, so what I'm doing here now at the moment, I don't know if you can quite tell, it's quite difficult because it's mirror images. So every time you move in the opposite direction, if that makes sense. So on the edge of this gold on the axe here, you've got just a tiny little lip that I'm just trying to cover. So that's why I'm tilting the model to one side like this, and then going at him. So let's just roll that over there. There we go. There's the edging done on that. Yeah, so I'm talking about Mordheim and things like that. Who else has played any Games Workshop games? What we got in the chat? So Squarish is saying the Alien session was awesome. Nathan did a great job of setting the scene environment. We are not too far into it yet. We've ended up trapped on an abandoned ship and found a nest. Oh man, you are going to be face-huggered to hell. That sounds cool though. I am going to try my best to join that Wednesday if I can. But Wednesdays are like my busiest days. So what else we got in the chat? I'm enjoying the style of the game. It's similar to Candela, that it's much more cinematic and narrative focused, keeping the rolling to a minimum. Yeah, so I mean, even when I do D&D for my groups, I mean my homebrew game at the moment, and actually the one that I do online for Tag, there was an element of that. I think we did on the Tag game. We had 3 sessions where there was absolutely no combat whatsoever. It was really based on the role play. There was a little bit of rolling in terms of dice, but it was about role play because part of that was more around investigation and them understanding the dynamics of the town as they'd sort of found themselves, the town that they found themselves in. So, you know, I think you can get that in D&D, but you have to be really conscious of not going straight into a battle again or straight into another fight, or so, because it can get very much sort of dice heavy and, you know, fight heavy. So I get completely what you're talking about. Squarish is saying he's just going into the final prep for his Candela Session 0 on Saturday. Oh, good luck. Again, I would be joining that. However, it is my father's wedding anniversary on Saturday, so I'll be joining him doing that rather than joining a TTRPG. Otherwise, I'd be there, dude. Sometimes life just gets... I just find life gets so busy and you never have enough time to do the crap you want to do, you know? Does anyone else find that? You never have enough time to do anything? I find myself like that all the time. Is that Saturday, as in tomorrow, Jen? Yeah, so Biddy Veteran, yeah, it is. Oh, Squarish has already answered up. Yeah, it is Saturday. The only things we played in school were musical instruments and girls. Yeah. I went to a boys' school, unfortunately, so there were no girls. We had the local girls' school, a sort of sister school to our school, if you like. That was all right. We used to hang out with the chicks after school. Sorry, I shouldn't say chicks, should I? Ladies. Well, they weren't ladies at the time. They were girls, and we were boys. So I think chicks is probably the right term for back then. I'm just painting the top of the axe now as we go. Notice there are a few definitions here on this axe. So in a minute, once this is done and dried, we'll go back over it, and we're going to get that null oil back out again, and we're going to go really light, and it's not a covering this time, but it's a small technique just to bring out some of those mould lines, because some of the mould lines are obviously intentional and they look really cool. So I don't know if you can quite... Oh, I'm painting out of shot. There you go. So you can see on this top of the axe head here some of these lines that are going across. Now, I've gone across in gold to start with. Absolutely fine. You could just leave that like that. But to give it that sort of 3D pop-out effect, I'm going to take some Nuln oil and I'm going to dribble it. And I mean like tiny little bits through that hole, through that line. So I'll literally score it with my brush like that. And I'll just go through it with the Nuln oil until I get enough on there, till the line is more noticeable. And it's the same for this side as well. So you see the sort of pattern you get on here. You can follow the lines here. So you can just fill in the little cracks. It doesn't have to be completely covered. You could completely cover it and you get a similar effect. But you don't have to. Just take a little tiny bit and fill in the cracks. It's quite good. And it just makes it pop out a little bit more. Oh, that's it. You go throw your brush around, Steve. So let's do the other side of this axe and put a bit more gold in. Yeah, so a bit of veteran saying the only thing he played was musical instruments and girls. Yeah, so they did have there was a few people at my school into Warhammer, but there weren't a huge amount. So it wasn't, like I say, until COVID I rediscovered it, because I enjoyed it back then and I always wanted to play. Like, I always used to pester my mate, like, come on, let's play more time, let's play more time. But he wasn't very good, so he used to get his butt whipped at it, and I don't think he liked me coming over and whipping his butt at more time. But still, it's still very, very good. It was an awesome game, very fun, very easy as well, and they've just re-released it, I think. So what else is in the chat? Yes, a bearded veteran. Make sure you jump on if you can on that Candela Obscura. That's going to be wicked. I wanted to run that myself, actually. But again, just time. Like, recently I found that I'm just running out of time on bloody everything. It's getting really annoying. And I've got so many models to paint. Like, I was telling a buddy of mine yesterday, and I genuinely need to stop buying models because I just have too many in stock that I need to paint. It's quite an embarrassment when you've got, you know, a couple of £100 worth of plastic crap that, you know, you should really, well, you shouldn't really have, really. I feel so, I feel rather gluttonous for having it, really, but still, it keeps me happy. I don't drink, I don't smoke, you know, so this is my only vice is gaming, which I don't think is a bad vice. Well, certainly not for health, anyway. Oh, I suppose it could be if you played too much, so it could be pretty bad. So there we go. So Square saying, I did do a lot of 40k when I was in school and a bit again when I was in the army. Ended up getting far too expensive to buy. Yeah, it is pricey, man. It is super pricey. Let's just change the camera whilst I chat to you guys and wash a brush. Yeah, so I would say it... Well, I say it's pricey, right? When you look at it and you think, oh, it's 30 quid for this box or whatever. I mean, in fact, I've got a box there. Let's use this as an example, right? Oh, I can't even get out of my chair. So, I bought this. This was ages ago, and I still haven't painted it. It's part of my collection that needs painting. This box, right? So let's bring that in. So there you go. There's 11 miniatures, 11 plastic miniatures in this, right? And I think this was £30. So £30 or £32, I think, actually. 32 quid for that. It does seem expensive. But when you consider you know, 32 quid for that, or you could spend 50 quid on the night to go out to the pub, right? 50 quid you could easily blow on drinks. I went to the pub the other day, a lime and soda cost like £2.80. What's that about? It's bloody soda water. So, you know, it's expensive, but in relation to other things, is it? I don't know. And if it gives you a hobby that you enjoy, and it allows you to, you know, chill, relax, and promotes good mental health, then I think actually it's probably far more beneficial. But that's my personal opinion. But it's certainly not cheap. I would say that it's not cheap, but comparatively it's probably on par with other activities. So Bearded Veteran saying maybe our school should have introduced TTRPG instead of sex education. Might have had less teen pregnancies. Yes, by the time I was doing my A-level exams, I was already a father. Oh, crikey. All right. Okay, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Move my chair so I'm a bit more centre. Sitting crock-eyed again. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? You know, these things happen. It's a live and learn experience, right? So, all right, so you might have had a kid young, but does that mean that your child grows up quicker and enables you to have a more richer later life? Yes. So don't panic too much about it. Don't beat yourself about it, man. So don't worry. But yes, it might have stopped some of that. But yeah, we'll see. So back to our mini. Here he is. So we've got the axe is now, you know, just that gold outline is now painted. I just want to take a look actually at how this, let's bring the box in. Here we are. So that's how he should look. This is where we are right now. So we're a little bit off at the moment. We've still got some stuff to do. But didn't realise actually how much sort of gold is on that axe. So we're probably going to have to get the gold back out and go for that axe a bit more. But that's okay. So we can bring him in. What's Squarish saying? I was very fortunate that a couple of other players commissioned me to paint their armies. Oh, man. So I was able to have the benefits. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Now that is nice. If someone's going to, you know, commission you to paint their armies, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, one day maybe I'll paint someone's army for them. Yeah, in fact, no, I don't know if I'd want to. I'm not sure if I'd want to. Like, I do paint the occasional model for people. So a few of my D&D players, as a DM, I say to them, and now if they're listening to this, they'll laugh because I say, no, you've got to have a model to represent your character, you know, and I'm a bit of a stickler on that. So I've painted a couple of models for my players because they might not be painters or might not have the time or whatever, and I do enjoy it. So I painted a couple of models for the guys and girls, and they look really cool. And I get a bit of enjoyment out of that. I don't do it for any other reason than just to paint them. So, oh no, actually I lie. I got a couple of cans of Mountain Dew out of it and some fizzy pop. That's what I got. That was my payment. But that is more than enough. So I didn't want necessarily payment for them because I do it out of the love for it because it's just a cool thing to do. And then someone else, you know, you paint these models and then pass them on to someone and they can enjoy them. Like I painted a model for my niece. I think she saw some pictures of some models I painted somewhere, and she asked for one, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll paint you one. So I found her one. I asked her what, you know, character she would want to be, if she could be. I kind of described it, because she's only little, I described it as a superhero type. And I said, well, what if you wanted it? Well, what would you want to be, you know? She might be listening tonight, actually. If you're listening, Liv, give you a shout out. She might be listening. You never know. So we're just continuing round on this, on the handle of this axe. Talking of axes, guys, I was, again, being a very geeky, nerdy person, I was looking across eBay for some decorations for my man cave, and you can only get like cosplay type axes, Warhammer style banners for different armies. Oh my lord, I was proper peeking. It was awesome, so I might have to buy some of those, and if they ever do come in, I'll show you guys. But yeah, very cool indeed. So we've got this bit here. What else we got in? I don't know if that bit actually, that should be wood. This bit down the bottom, I think, should be this colour. So let's just go around here. Yeah, so with Warhammer, you know, I sort of shared a couple of my experiences, but I love the fact that it draws a variety of different players. So Warhammer draws both painters and it draws players all into the one spot. A bit like D&D in some respects, actually. You know, and that's really cool. That makes the hobby really diverse, and you get a lot of different people. So you get these sort of power gamers, and all they're interested in is just playing the game and winning, you know. And then you get the people that are more for the narrative and the lore. So Warhammer has some absolutely awesome lore, and by lore I mean like history. You know, so they have a load of books that are super cool. I'm reading the Horus Heresy at the moment, if anyone else is reading it. And actually a friend of mine, Mira Manga, she does a YouTube channel, and she talks about a load of different of the Warhammer books, such as the Horus Heresy, and she also interviews some of the writers of the books. So she has a really cool, a big YouTube channel, not like mine, but she has a really big channel, quite a few people watching. Yeah, so she does all of that sort of stuff, so that's very cool. So if you're into the lore, that's a very good place to go, and Warhammer's cool for that. So there's loads of books, loads of sort of intrigue and mystery around what happens in the Warhammer world. That's really good, mega exciting, and it just gives you another aspect. So you've got that gaming aspect, you've got the painting aspect, you've got that sort of history and knowledge aspect of what happens in the world. It's just really fun. So that's kind of what the allure for me is. What's the allure for you guys? Why do you play Warhammer? What's the interest for you? Is there any main interest around playing Warhammer? By the way, I'm not too fussed about going over this silver bit with gold. I'm being fairly careless, actually. I should try to be tidier. But yeah, what brought you guys to play Warhammer, if at all? And if not, what would you think would be the allure for you? You know, why would you want to play it? Would it be for painting the models? Would it be for playing a game? Would it be just the social aspect? Would it be the competitive aspect? Or are you just like a, you know, bit of a bookworm, and you would love just to sit there and read through a load of different books and take yourself off to a different world? There's loads of cool reasons. Oh, Bearded Veteran is saying he's never played in his life. No, well, me neither, till this Sunday. And I shall be a convert, and I shall play. But yeah, I've never played either. I'm going out of frame a little bit there. Bring that back. Yeah, so I've never played either. What was stopping you playing though, Bearded Veteran? What is stopping you? Is there something that you don't like, or is there, you know, an element of fear or doubt or whatever? So Squarish is saying, I think I started for the social aspect, and because my brother was into it, then really got into it for the painting. Yeah, I still find it. I'll switch cameras whilst I sort my brushes. I do find the painting is the biggest allure for me. The stories are super cool, and I love the setting. I love a fantasy setting, a Tolkien-esque kind of world with, you know, dragons and dwarves and elves and all that sort of stuff, and, you know, futuristic things as well. That's cool. But the painting is something else. It's really, really cool just to dive into a little project, even if it's this and you're painting along, you know, chatting to people about Warhammer itself, you know. It's just very, very cool. So, next paint that we're going to use, I talked earlier about contrasts. We're going to use Bile Red. Right, so, when you've got things like jewels on an item, you can get a little cheaty. So, if you have done your colours already on your mini and you've got a silver underneath, it's contrasts to go over the top of that make it look like a shiny kind of sort of jewel. So we're going to use that right now. I'm going to add a little bit more on. Yeah, and back to Warhammer. So with Warhammer, what did I collect? So I collected dwarves out of the original Warhammer world. So I think it's called Old Hammer now, because it's not. They don't do that as such anymore. But I collected dwarves, and then I had a couple of 40k items. So this is the futuristic. So you've got Warhammer and you've got Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k is the guns and space thing, and the rest of it is not. So I had in 40k. I had Imperial Guard, purely because they looked like soldiers. So Imperial Guard are like the humans of the world, and they look like soldiers, so I was like, great, I'll have a bit of that. So I had those. They were pretty cool. It was very joyful to play those. Or, sorry, to paint those, should I say. Yeah, so here we go, just slapping a bit of this on. There we go, in the back. There. So we've got a little bit of red coming through. There we are. So a bit of red. Nice. Let's get some brown for that handle on the axe. Yeah, so I collected like I said, dwarves when I first started, and Imperial Guard. Then, as I've grown up since, and I've started redoing things, what have I done? So, I now collect... Oh, as you can see, these ladies. So, they used to be called Sisters of Battle, and they are a purely female army, but they're now called Adepta Sororitas. Yeah, and they're awesome. They're like kick-ass chicks. But yeah, they're super, super, super cool. I just like the models. I think the colours, the colour and the style I just really like. So they're what I collect at the moment. Along with, I do have a few Space Marines, because that is kind of, they call it the poster boy, the Warhammer world. So everyone tends to sort of have a Space Marine at some point, right? Oh, wrong brown. So yeah, so everyone has a kind of Space Marine at some point. Because they're always shown on all posters by Games Workshop. And they're all cool miniatures. I've got some vehicles, and I've got some Space Marines painted up, and they do look smart. So they're big guys, like super, super tall, bigger than humans. They've got like 3 hearts, I think, and, you know, loads of these sort of extra lungs and stuff, just so they're battle-ready, hardened individuals in a futuristic world. And they're very cool. So I've got those. I do have some Imperial Guard. Got the Sisters of Battle. What else do I have? Do I have anything else? No, not really. That's it. They're the 3 things. So, yeah, that's kind of where I've stayed. I don't have any orcs or anything like that. They're quite cool, though. Oh, no, I do. There's a box that I haven't painted of orcs. That's in my pile of shame. But they're very, very cool. I quite like those. I'll have to get them out at some point and paint those, because they are good. But yeah, I like all the different armies as well. But I started painting when I got back into it, because I think the first set I got was Space Marines that came with a paint set, and with that paint set, you know, I got a little bit bored of painting a squad. So you get, you know, like this box that I've just got. That's why I haven't painted them, is because it's a squad, and it means that you've got to paint almost very similar figures all the time, and I don't have the greatest patience. I get very bored very easily on stuff like that. Although I do have patience, sorry, but I just lose the will sometimes when I'm, painting the same continued style mini. It just gets a little bit repetitive. So I try not to, and that's why I like models like our Grombrindle here, who is a sort of individual model. He doesn't look any others, and I quite like that. So you'll find on my shelves I've got various different Space Marines, but they're all different from different chapters, and so they don't match, and I could never field a real army, because they would never operate together in the same place. So we're saying in chat, what we saying? So Bearded Veteran saying, not sure, the money involved puts me off, and Warhammer gamers have always come across as the model railway enthusiast types of the TTRPG world. Scale modelers will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, I don't know. I suppose it's what side of the fence you're on, because I've always thought scale modelers were like the model railway people. But it's just perception, isn't it? It's not truth in either side. It's just how things are seen on the outside. But give it a go, man. It's pretty cool. The models are cool. That's what I like about it. And it doesn't have to be that you religiously do the game at all. The models are cool enough. So yeah. So we're getting there slowly with old Grombrindle. He's going. So yeah, so the Sisters of Battle. Yeah, I like them for their aesthetics because they look cool. They're different because they're a chick army. So because they're all female, that was really appealing, because the majority of other in 40k, that is the setting of 40k, but all the other armies I think are pretty much all men with the odd woman sort of sprinkled in there, whereas this was an entire female army. I thought, oh, that's actually pretty cool. It's a bit different, so I went for those. They were cool, and they do look very, very different. We mentioned about those spin-off games of Blood Bowl and Mordheim, so sort of small scale games that you can play that aren't going to take up your whole life or whole world, and they're a lot easier to play as well. Wrong colour. So we talked about those, and why they're so fun, because they're dead simple and easy, and I'm a dead simple individual. There you go, get the right colour on this time, Steve. Yeah, so it's the Warhammer world is different to D&D, though, I would say that, because that's the other passion of mine, is D&D. And they are two very distinct worlds, although they're both fantasy based. They do feel very, very different, and I have to admit, as Bearded Veteran's saying, the people on Warhammer do feel a little bit different to D&D players. Just in general, I mean, geeks are geeks, right? But it does feel slightly different. But once you get in there and you get to know them, they seem to be pretty good people, really, generally. You might find the odd person that's a bit odd, but crikey, we find them everywhere, right? So, getting that detail. Oh, I forgot to switch my camera. Sorry, guys. So we're getting that detail in just on the handle. So it's a mix of, it doesn't come out quite right in this light. A mix of a sort of bronzy colour and a brown as well. What I need to do next is get a very light brown. Just go over for some of the straps that go around the handle. So just some of those finer details. In fact, I might use a lighter colour than that. Mix that up quickly. Just change it across whilst we're here. Yeah, so that is really sort of my experience so far with Warhammer. Read some books, played some short games, never played a proper game, painted lots of models, and I'm about to experience Warhammer 40k in its full form this weekend on Sunday, so that's going to be very cool. Yeah, so the motivation, I suppose, comes from various different places we spoke about, whether it's the lore, whether it's the hobby part of it, whether it's the gaming part. So it's very, very good. I suppose before we end our stream, because I've got to do a shorter one today, we need to do a muscle moment, because obviously Minis and Muscles wouldn't be anything if it wasn't where the brawn meets the brush. So muscle moment for this week. So sorry about my sniffing. I think the hot weather has got me a little bit under weather. So for muscle moments, what I wanted to cover off this week was all the gear, no idea, or that phrase of all the gear, no idea. I'll go back to the camera. I go to the gym a fair amount, right? And what you find in the gym, and I think why some people are a little bit scared of coming to the gym, is because there are a lot of people in there that don't really know what they're doing. They have all the flashy equipment, they've got all this nice gear on, really expensive trainers, or they've got the team vest on, or the team this or the team that, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, they're all dressed for the part. And it can be a little bit intimidating for some people to go into a gym because of that. But what I would say is that the majority of people that I've seen that are like that actually haven't got a bloody foggiest anyway, and you're just as clued up as what they are. So I suppose his advice as well is try not to be that individual with all the gear and no idea. You don't matter what you wear. I wear, although I've got a nice vest on today, I wear crappy vests, and I wear crappy trainers and crappy shorts, and I go into the gym and I just get on with it. I don't look at anybody. I don't talk to anyone unless I do see someone I know, of course, and then I'm not an unsociable git. So I, get on with what I got to do, and I just put my music on and I enjoy it. You don't need to spend a fortune when you're putting all your stuff together. You don't need all that, high-end trainers, or, the latest this, the latest that. Although, I am kind of freaked out when I go in the gym at the moment. People wear Crocs. What's that about? People wearing Crocs in the gym? Like, I thought you were meant to wear, decent footwear in the gym, but people wear Crocs. Oh, that's the other one as well. Here's one for you. Why do people put the watches round their leg? What's that about? Watches round a leg. Has anyone been to the gym and seen a watch? People putting watches round their legs? That's so odd. It really freaks me out. I'm like, why are people doing this? So I don't know the answer to that. If anyone else knows the answer, if it's something cool and trendy to do, I don't know. But yeah, watches round the legs, very weird. So we're just trying to add a little bit. This is quite hard, this bit, because actually my lighting today is not very good. I should probably have better lighting. But we're just trying to do the little sort of white bits around the handle, around the grip of the handle. You see those little bits there that stick out? So we've kind of covered those off, so that's good. Alrighty, so the time has come, unfortunately, my friends. I've been on for an hour. Crocs in the gym, yeah, bearded veteran. Can you believe it? Crocs in the gym. I couldn't believe it. I was kind of weirded out by it. I probably shouldn't be weirded out by it, but I really didn't get why people were wearing Crocs in the gym. I don't really get Crocs as a bit of footwear anyways, because I'm an old man, but, I thought Crocs were for babies that can't get their shoes in feet. Feet in shoes. But that's my opinion. How the hell do you fit a watch around your leg? Do they skip leg days? Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, this lady that was in the gym was wearing Crocs and had her watch around her leg. I don't know whether it's for some reason, but the whole time it's like I get that something you might be doing in the gym, and you know you might do an exercise and have to take off your watch, right? But why do you not put it back on, or why does it need to go on your leg the whole time around your ankle? It's like very strange. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I think my message for my muscle moments this week is more about don't worry about what you're wearing, worry about what you do. That's what it's all about. Don't panic about what everyone else is doing. Don't panic about what everyone else is wearing. Don't worry about if you've got the right clothes to wear, unless it's Crocs. As long as it's suitable gym wear, it doesn't have to be the best in the world. Get in there and have a session. Give it a go. That's why is a thumbs up happen? I haven't even put my thumbs up. There you go. Thumbs up. Does it happen? No. No, it doesn't. When I do it, it doesn't happen. But for some reason, it happens automatically. Yeah. So don't worry about the gear. Get yourself in there and give it a bash. That's my muscle moment of the day. I think next week we're going to cover some actual exercises next week to try and some suggestions for a routine. But my wonderful people, Crocs in the gym seem damn unhygienic if you ask me. Yeah, it's the same as walking around barefooted or with your socks on. Again, in the military, if you did that, you would be absolutely ragged. And at one point, I remember there was an outbreak of, I think it was an outbreak of some, like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was some sort of skin thing. And we had to keep on washing, because I worked in the gym in the military. We had to keep on washing all the mats down every like hour. And we had to ban people from taking their shoes off on the mats, because people were walking around barefooted or with their socks on, and the sweat gets onto them, and other people then lie on it, and then, you know, it goes into cuts or whatever, and it just spreads disease, and it's gross. So I really don't get why people do that in the gym. Barefoots, ugh, gross, or socks even, disgusting. But I digress again. Here is our Grombrindle. Here is how he looks. So he's got a bit more detail on the axe there. That's the main thing that we've done this evening. We've also done the shield there. We've done some sort of shadowing with our oils around all those. Oh God, throwing him away. Done some shadowing with our oils on the rocks, just so they look a little bit more realistic. So they look cool now. So yeah, he's coming along. Apologies for the short session today, but unfortunately I've got to jump out this evening. Got some other commitments to do and more work, but never mind, we'll get over it. But it has been a pleasure as always. Not 1 month yet, but almost 1 month of Minis-N-Muscles. Absolutely crazy. Whole month. That's nuts. I'm really chuffed. Of still, you know, are we getting closer to 80 now? I think we're getting closer to 80 subscribers, which is cool. I never thought I'd get more than 10, so that's epic. But you know, I'll try and set a target of maybe 100. That would be really cool. But we're getting there slowly. I want to thank everyone that's been online tonight, especially the guys that have been active in the chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And for anyone that's watching this and catching up later, I very much hope... What's it say? You're on 79? Oh, 79. Ah, okay. Oh, cool. 79. Almost at 80 then. Oh, come on. Let's have one more sub. Let's see if we can get one more sub in, and then we'll be at 80. That would be cool. But, yes, thank you for your participation. Thank you if you're watching this on catch-up, because I'll drop the video into the YouTube. I will try to do some more shorts this week. I've been very bad, purely because it's been a bit time-constricted this week because of work, but hey-ho, we'll get there. Any questions that you want to throw at me, drop them in the comments on the videos. I'll always try to come back to you if I can help. And remember to like, to comment, to subscribe, turn on notifications. Also, make sure that you pass on the goodness to everyone else of Minis and Muscles. See if we can get them on as well, and let's have a more interactive chat. Let's have some more good topics, and I will look forward to speaking to you all next week. Next week, as I mentioned, we're going to delve into a little bit more about the fitness next week. So rather than the geek subject, we're going to transfer over to the fitness subject, talk more on fitness with a little bit of geek sort of interspersed as well. So that is to come next week. So look forward to it. Bring your fitness questions with you. If not, have a wonderful Friday, even if it's a little bit hot in the UK. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy it. Stay safe, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much.